Just Cause is synonymous with massive open worlds, being one of, if not the top-selling feature of the franchise. But bigger isn't always better if badly used, pun intended. So is Just Cause 40 actually the series' weak point? Good morning ladies and gents, Blue Fox here, and today we're crossing by land, sea and air the boundless lands of Just Cause, from San Espirito to Panau, from Medici to Solis. But one step at a time, roll the intro. Before we can even debate the issue, we need to ask the most fundamental question here. How big are Just Cause worlds? I could just tell you 1000 square kilometers, 400 square miles and leave it at that, but knowing Just Cause open world is big as the real life island of Okinawa, Japan, doesn't really tell you much, does it? A better question to pose is how much bigger is Just Cause world in comparison to other games? Let's cut to the chase, it's bigger, it's simply bigger. Surface-wise, according to estimations, Just Cause worlds are about 15 times bigger than Breath of the Wild's Hyrule, 8 times bigger than GTA's 5 Los Santo and The Witcher's 3 Well in Novigrad, and 4 times bigger than Assassin's Creed's 4 Black Flag's massive Caribbean. Now, I would like to explain how video game worlds are measured and how they can be measured better in more detail in a future video, but for this episode's debate's sake, trust me that all 4 Just Cause are vast, way bigger than other games. The dilemma ahead between players is not about if Just Cause is big, but whether or not the game should be this massive. Some claim these worlds are disproportionately large, and some others claim it is imperative map stays this way. Needless to say, there are two sides for this argument, pros and cons, both having a thesis to bring up to this case. So without objections, let's start our cross-examination. The biggest critique posed to the massive open worlds is that they are empty, sparse, a sandbox with nothing to do. If you recall the video made on Yakuza's unique open world, you may remember how many players would rather play in a small environment like Kamurocho's 6 streets with plenty things to do, rather than to roam around an empty desert. If Yakuza is that condensed small space with countless things to do, Just Cause is the empty desert. All 4 Just Cause maps are monotonously repeated, making them worse than diluted red wine. But Just Cause is not big for the sake of it, quite the opposite. Just Cause's thrilling dynamic gameplay does require the game map to be massive. From Rico's signature hookshot, to his parachute, to his wingsuit, to all drivable vehicles available, Rodriguez is in constant fast movement. Since traversing large distances is a piece of cake, the scale of the world has to accommodate accordingly. If the player can travel kilometers by pulling oneself with the hookshot while flying, you cannot insert this character in a small environment. The scale of the world must reflect the world's scope within the design. Minecraft could not work in a small world, nor could Yakuza work in a massive open world. Assuming there is interchangeability across the board is naive, and due to the dynamic nature of Just Cause, a smaller open world would simply not work. While it's true that the player can traverse land quicker than in other games, this does not justify the need to have such a repetitive map. Many areas of the game look and feel the same, and feel copy-pasted versions of the same square mile. Can you truly tell apart the regions of Abundanza, Cantos, Cresta and Recalada? Apart from major macro areas such as the plains, desert, rainforests and mountains within them all, there is little to no uniqueness put in the landscapes and cities. Would it not be nice to see a smaller yet more detailed open world worth exploring? Perhaps a playing field dense with extraordinary locations rather than the 100th copy-pasted villa near the coastline? Uniqueness is what players seek when exploring an uncharted land, not repetition. This poses a question. Does beauty need to come from small charming landmarks, or can she come from the vastness of our landscape? There is wonder and magnificence to be had when looking and exploring huge regions instead of smaller ones, both in real life and in video games alike. Everything that can be seen from the blue skies, and I mean everything, is an explorable location. The one you see in the video is not a still background painting, but a boundless, beautiful world that is for the player to explore. But explore what exactly? After the 1 millionth tertiary mission, there is little for the user to explore. Liberating an outpost is fun the first time around, but grinding the 40th one starts to be repetitive to say the least. The assets of the game are very limited. The statues to destroy are the same, the posters to remove are the same, the vehicles at our disposal are always virtually the same. We can have the biggest open world possible, but if the tools present in the world are few, overall experience will be dull at best, boring at worst. But what would Just Cause be without its countless cities and unreachable horizons? What makes Just Cause unique is its map scale. orders of magnitudes bigger than GTAs, sunsets, and sleeping dogs. Removing such an incredible feature would be like removing Pokémons from Pokémon. It would make Just Cause just another first-person shooter. Avalanche Studios' franchise is known for the feature. By removing the role, the soul of the game vanishes with it. The arguments for and against the fast open world are many, but the core ones are three for both points. In favor of big open worlds, the topics chosen are gameplay, beauty, and uniqueness. It's fun and exciting to roam around a nation-sized game world, and fans of the series would not want anything less. Arguments against are mainly emptiness, monotony, and repetition. Diluting an experience does not make the game better, and the above-mentioned games that have a tenth or even 100th of the world size are still loved by reviewers and gamers alike. Both points are valid, but there can only be one conclusion. Arguments on both sides are solid, and personal preferences play a huge part into deciding whether or not you like Just Cause game world's formula, but from a game design perspective, is Just Cause too big? The answer in my modest opinion is no, Just Cause open world maps are not too big, but there are some asterisks at the end of this verdict. While there are many drawbacks to having a game world this big, I believe that if the gameplay is thought out well to make use of such immense world, games like Just Cause do not need to be scaled down. JC is a very unique experience, and while it may not be everyone's cup of tea, I do not believe that the philosophy behind it is rotten at the core. Now, is Just Cause a perfect game? Absolutely not. The problems present in the 4 games are not ignorable, and some are consequences of the massive open world. However, having a smaller one would cause more harm than good in the long run. But what is your take on today's topic? After listening to the full case, did you reach my same conclusion, or do you answer yes to the question on the thumbnail? Let me know your ideas down in the comments. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. As you saw, debate flows both ways, but there is only good debating. As usual, I want to thank you 1000 square kilometers times for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, do not forget to leave this video a like and share it with your friends. And as usual, subscribe for more. Did you like this new format, by the way? I'm not too sure if discussing with myself is a bit silly if it worked better than intended. Perhaps next time I should get a friend aboard. Where did I leave Dando's number? Anyhow, I wish you a wonderful day, and until next time, arrivederci.